available to fight now. That
He should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they made the right decision. Yep. Should have been a month ago.
Dana, since Chael got brought up, some people are kind of comparing his situation to Marquardt. Can you kind of
The difference between Chael and Marquardt is we can talk about everything in the Chael incident. We can't with Marquardt. I think, and I've seen some of the stuff that people are saying. I think, you know me, all in this crazy emotional psycho. Like, give me a break. This isn't the first time. This isn't the first time. Everybody's like, oh, give him a second chance. This would be like the fourth time.
Did you hear his statements? I mean, is the whole story out? Or?
I haven't heard. I literally don't know what he said. Don't know one word of what he said. I heard that, he did an interview with Ariel, I guess, and I don't know what was really said, but whatever he said should be the end of it then. Because the way that the laws are there, you can't talk about people's medical records.
So when you said that you were disgusted with him, that wasn't just in reference to testosterone replacement therapy?
Yeah, I guess it is. There's a difference between testosterone replacement therapy and where you get it to a level where, it's performance enhancing.
Well, I mean, how do you feel in general? How do you feel about MMA fighters being on testosterone replacement?
I think it depends. I think that if listen, it's obvious that there's guys who use steroids earlier in their career, and when you get up to, around that age, 30 years old, your body isn't producing it the way that it used to. So I guess, listen, I'm the furthest fucking thing from a doctor you'll ever see. But I guess, if they go in there and they have to replace it and get it to normal levels where, normal average guys are at these normal levels. If it's, 5 or whatever over that, you're taking too much or you're going to see the wrong doctor. I think that this whole testosterone therapy thing works for guys who absolutely need it, but I think it's a messy loophole,
I mean, do you think it matters why they need it? Like you mentioned, some guys might have low testosterone because of past steroids. I mean, do you think it matters why they have low testosterone now, or
I don't think it matters why. I mean, guys who really need it probably really need to take it. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I even remotely know what I'm talking about. But I know that you get to certain levels where it's more the testosterone therapy and trying to get you back to normal levels.
When you guys offered Nate the fight, originally the Rumble Johnson fight, I mean, you guys knew that he was being watched kind of by New Jersey, that there was like a few-week period where they wanted to keep an eye on him and keep doing tests.
I literally didn't know that till Thursday, but people in my organization did. The people who handle the medicals and things like that, and I was pretty upset about it when I found out on Thursday.
Had you known?
Yeah, if I would have known earlier, I would have made sure that it was taken care of differently.
Now, one of the fans tweeted you saying, shouldn't you give him a second chance? And you mentioned, well, this is his fourth chance.
Yeah, to me, this is his fourth chance. This would be a fourth chance.
So he tested positive for steroids before, and then this.
He tested positive before. Then apparently he was on suspension with New Jersey because his levels were high. Then he comes into Philly and doesn't pass his medicals.
So fourth.
Now you tell me, is that fourth chance or is that a second chance? Sounds like a fourth chance to me.
Do you feel as though New Jersey handled this correctly? Because it doesn't seem as though they made it public that he was on this sort of suspension.
Every athletic commission is different, and they all handle it differently. I really enjoyed the experience in Pennsylvania. I like the fact that they will acknowledge that they made a mistake, like in the fight with Lentz.
Right.
They're like, listen, this is the call that the guy made. Let us go back and review the tapes. And they could have reviewed it that night, but they didn't. They said, let's go back, we'll sit down, we'll review it. They reviewed it, and it came out on Monday and made it a no contest. You know how huge that is? And this is the stuff that I talk about all the time. Human beings, whether judges or referees or whatever it is, you're human beings. We're going to make mistakes. We all do. But it's the ability to say, we made a mistake, but we're going to come in and do the right thing now and fix it. We're not going to just destroy everything this guy's worked for and everything else because we don't want to admit that we make mistakes.
What would you do with that
decision? Questions you've already been asked, but just to clarify, are you saying that Nate's done? I mean, there's nothing you can do to get back into
Nate's done. I'm done with Nate.
Dana, are you?
Listen, Nate's a really nice guy. He's a real sweet, nice, humble guy. But the facts are the facts, and it is what it is.
Is that a
it's easier to go after a guy like Josh Barnett. You know what I mean? He's just callous and rude, and he's a dick. You know? So when he does it, it's easier to just go, you know what? Fuck Josh Barnett. But, you know, the difference is Nate's such a sweet, nice guy, but the same results.
Is that Strikeforce too? You can't fight in Strikeforce, or you really rely on them?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Don't even ask me about Strikeforce. I don't.
What about Brett Rogers? Are you willing to make a comment at all about that situation today?
Brett Rogers was cut immediately.
Okay.
He's done.
What were you going to ask? Sorry, you mentioned the no contest with Lance. Are you guys going to do that fight again then?
Probably. It'd be a fun one, but he's busted up. You know that. You can't say it's from the illegal knee, but you would have to imagine that was, you know, because that was a good fight. They were going at it before that.
What are your thoughts on Tito? I mean, obviously it looks like last end of the road for him if he loses. He mentioned in a blog that he wrote himself that he had to beg for this chance to fight on this card. Can you just comment on that?
I would never do that. You know, if Tito wants to say that, that's up to Tito. But, you know, we gave Tito another chance. He's got it on Saturday. You know, it's a tough fight with Bader. And I said earlier, Tito fights the best when his back's against the wall. We'll see how he does.
Does he have to win, or is it a performance thing?
He's got to win. Dude, it's 2011. He's got to win.
So what? You mentioned how much you like dealing with the Pennsylvania Commission. I mean, the New Jersey Commission said that they would not consider, overturning the result in the Marquardt-Miller fight because they felt like his levels were fine at the time of the fight, regardless of what they might have done before or after.
Right.
How do you feel about the way that they've...
Which is important. You know, I think that's fair. I think that's fair that New Jersey tested him then, and he was on. You know, that's their deal. They handle that. I have no criticisms in the way that they each handle their own states. What I do have, the one criticism I have is what I said earlier, is the ability, you know, this isn't the 1930s where you can't go back and review things. You got the guy sitting right there with the monitors. We could replay it. We could show it from 15 different angles. And if you don't want to make the call that night, then take it for the weekend like Pennsylvania did. But admit when you're wrong. You know, admit when there's a bad ref. Admit when judges suck. You know, there's some guys that make mistakes, and there's some guys that just shouldn't even be in the business.
Speaking of in the business, Mr. White, what are your thoughts on T.J. Thompson and Rich Show reviving ProElite?
I didn't know about it. Good for them.
August 27th in Honolulu, Hawaii at the Neil Blaisdell Center.
Cool. Yeah, you know, TJ's been involved in some great fights in Super Brawl, you know, and was a guy, you know, I would call him an early pioneer of the sport. Good for him.
Anything else, guys? Have you decided on a main event